The banks closed overnight. No email, no warning, just closed. Most people think money stress is an income problem. Get a raise, land a bigger client, earn more. That's what I believe too. But two Egyptian revolutions taught me something different. The families that fell apart were not always the poorest. And the families that stayed calm were not always the richest. The difference was never the amount. It was the system. My name is Morgan, and I've built and sold multiple companies. I managed a 7-figure portfolio, and in 2011 and again in 2013, I kept my family and 35 employees financially stable when the banks shut down and the ATMs ran dry. Today, I'm going to give you the 3 money rules that made that possible. And then I will walk you through the exact tools to use them, starting tonight. This is the kind of system I break down every week on this channel. If you're a parent who wants to get smarter with money for yourself and for your family, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. The insight, the delay load cycle. Here's what most people get wrong about money. They think money stress is an income problem. If I just earned more, if I got that raise, if I landed that client. But I've seen wealthy families collapse under financial pressure, and I've seen modest families sail through real crisis without breaking a sweat. The difference is never the amount. It is the system. Money stress is a design problem, and here's exactly why that happens. Every financial decision that stays unanswered takes up space, not on paper, in your head. Should I cancel that subscription? Should I move money to savings? Should I pay off that card faster? These are open loops, and open loops stack. The next decision feels heavier, not because it is hard, but because it sits on top of 20 others that never got closed. This is what I call the delay load cycle. Delay leads to more mental noise. Mental noise makes avoidance feel comfortable. Avoidance leads to more postponements. Nothing breaks, nothing explodes. Things just never feel finished. By the end of the month, you are not just tired from your job, you're tired from your money. That exhaustion is not a character flaw. It's a design flaw. You do not have a discipline problem. You have an open loop problem. So how do you break the delay load cycle for good? The first rule is the one most families skip entirely. And skipping it is the exact reason their savings never grow. The 2 golden rules. Pay yourself first. After the first revolution, I met a bank manager and a friend named Magdi. He sat across from me and he said something I have never forgotten. You need a margin of safety in your life, Morgan. Not just in the stock portfolio, in everything. Income, assets, options. You need to build a buffer so wide that no one can ever delete you again. That word, delete, hit different when you've just watched a government try to do exactly that to an entire economy. That evening, Magdi showed me the 2 golden rules that would become the foundation of everything I built. Golden rule number 1, saving is not what is left over. Savings is what you protect first. Most families save what is left after spending. And there's never anything left. That's the leftover trap. When savings compete with spending, guess what? Spending always wins. Every time. Most families skip the one step that fixes this. And it is the only reason their savings never grow. The step is called pay yourself first. You heard that right. Pay yourself first reverses the order entirely. Savings leave your account on payday before bills, before groceries, before life gets in the way. The money moves before the temptation arrives. Here's how you set it up in 10 minutes. Step 1, set up one automatic transfer from your main account to a separate saving account. This is what the system calls the Payday calendar. Timed for the same day as your paycheck, not the day after. The same day. Step 2, put it in a different bank if you can. This is the invisible transfer. What you cannot see, you cannot spend. Step 3, start with any percentage, even 5%. Then increase by 1% every quarter. In 2 years, you have doubled your savings rate without ever feeling it. My daughter Noor does this with her pocket money. Her future me envelope gets filled first. before the mall, before she decides what to buy, before anything. She's 15. She already thinks like an owner. That is the goal. But pay yourself first only covers the golden rule number 1. It protects your future. It does not tell every other dollar where to go. The system that does that, step number 3 of the first brick, is next. And it is the one that saved us in revolution number 2. Before I walk you through the 3 zones, which is where most families have their biggest breakthrough, make sure you are subscribed. Next week, I'm walking through the full money map method. All 6 frameworks, step by step. You don't want to miss that one. The 3 zones and the 3 envelopes. At this point, you're probably thinking, I've tried budgets before. They never stick. I hear you. And I want to show you exactly why. Most budgets fail, not because the person fails, but because the budget asks too much. 30 categories is not a budget. 30 categories is 30 open loops for every transaction. And open loops, remember, they feed the delay load cycle. The 3 zones exist instead. Not 30 categories, 3 zones. Zone 1, essentials, 50%. The non-negotiables, rent, utility, mortgage, grocery, insurance, transport. If you cannot skip it for a single month, it belongs here. Nothing else does. Zone 2, comforts, 30%. This is your life. Dining out, subscriptions, hobbies, the stuff that makes the work worth it. No tracking, no guilt. When the envelope is empty, the month is done with the fun stuff. No borrowing from the next month. This is where most families quietly bleed money without ever noticing. Not because they are careless, because there's no boundary, no line that says this is enough. Zone 2 draws that exact line. Zone 3 is the future you, 20%. This is the money that future you will thank you for. You do not touch it. It moves automatically before you ever see it. I taught this to Noor using the 3 envelopes. Same system as the 3 zones, just translated into her language. Essentials, comforts, future me. Simple enough for, at that time, a 12-year-old. Powerful enough to manage a 7-figure portfolio. The percentages are guidelines, not prison sentences. If your essentials exceed 50%, that is a signal, not a failure. And something needs to shift in the next 90 days, not today. Here's your 10-minute action. Write down your monthly take-home money. Multiply by 0.5, that is zone 1. Multiply by 0.3, that is zone 2. Multiply by 0.2, you guessed it, that is zone 3. That's it. Now you have a budget, a real one. But a budget on paper is still just theory. Let me show you what this system looks like when an actual storm arrives. Revolution 2, proof. Let me come back to 2013, the second revolution. By then, the 2 golden rules were running smoothly. We had savings buffers sitting at a different bank, the invisible transfer at work, the 3 zones were automated, money moved before I could touch it. When the banks closed again, we had weeks of runway. We did not scramble. We did not fight at the kitchen table. My family had dinner. We talked about something different than money. That is what a system does. It does not just protect your wealth. It protects your family. And I know what some of you are thinking right now. That is Egypt. My life is not a revolution. Never lived in countries like that. You're right. Your life is not a revolution. Thanks God. But most families build financial habits only when everything is calm. Except calm never lasts. A job loss, a medical bill, a market correction. The real test is what happens when the storm hits. Not a bad headline on your phone. An actual the paycheck did not arrive kind of storm. The first brick, my budgeting framework, was not built in a classroom. It was built at a kitchen table and tested under stress with tanks on the road twice. These rules are not theory. They are what kept 35 families fat when everything else broke down outside. And they work on your kitchen table too. So here's where you can start. tonight. Here's what I want you to do right now. 1. Set up the Payday calendar tonight. It's only one automatic transfer, any amount, before you go to bed. 2. Write down your 3 zones. Take home income times 0.5, 0.3, 0.2. 2 actions, 15 minutes total. You will have done more for your family's financial future than most people do in an entire year. The full money map method, all 6 frameworks, is linked below. If this was useful, subscribe. Every week I give you one system, one tool, one mindset shift to help your family build real lasting wealth. I will see you next week.